Hi, this is Talie Warulkar. I'm the anxiety coach for overwhelmed mothers. Welcome to my Exposing Anxiety interview series. Today I'm joined here with Ella Sussman, and we're going to talk about her anxiety journey as part of a series of interviews that I'm doing in order to take the shame lid off of anxiety. Ella is going to be speaking to us today about the anxiety that she experienced around her pregnancy. Hi, Ella. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a bit about yourself.
I'm Ella. I'm originally from Sydney, Australia. I met Aliyah almost 10 years ago and now live in Jerusalem with my husband and my 2.5-year-old.
Amazing. Okay. Can you share with us your story surrounding pregnancy and anxiety and how it affected you, your family, the dynamics? Start
Sure.
with how it affected you.
Okay. Well, I'll start from the beginning.
Yeah.
When we first got pregnant, week 5 I'm saying with my daughter who's now 2.5,
Yeah.
week 5 of the pregnancy. So 1 week after doing the test, I started
This
getting
was roughly like, this was
3
probably
years.
about over 3 years, probably
Yeah,
3.5 years nearly. Yeah.
Pesach 3 years ago.
Wow.
Um, so a week into being pregnant, I started getting really nauseous, but it was the type that I was like, oh no, I really can't do anything. And then I started vomiting a lot. And then we realized that I had HG, which is hyperemesis gravidarum, which is basically vomiting too much. It's not the usual
Yeah.
morning sickness. It's like,
When you can't keep anything down. Yeah.
yeah, anything you put in, it comes back out. I lost 10 kilos in the first 6 weeks of the pregnancy. I didn't even know because I wasn't even getting out of bed to look at myself in the mirror. So I didn't even know that I looked different.
Yeah.
And when I did the first like nurse's appointment here and they put and like you stand on the scale to get weighed, I was like, I've never been that skinny in my life. I was
Wow.
very shocked to
Did
see that.
anyone else around you, did they realize what was going on?
I wasn't seeing anyone. I was in bed the whole time. My husband would bring me the bucket to vomit in. He would then rinse out the bucket, bring it back to me, and then the cycle continued. So that was
So
very,
how long was until that first, when you've weighed yourself, how many weeks pregnant were you at that stage?
I think maybe 12 weeks pregnant. So
Okay.
within the first like
First
6 or
trimester.
7 weeks. Yeah, it was the first trimester. Um, so yeah, I was very, very, very sick. And it took a very big toll on my mental health because, as I said, I was just in bed with a bucket 24 hours a day in the dark. I tried to sleep through the day. Like I would try and start my day as late as possible so that I could miss as much of the day as possible, which I
Yeah,
think
the
is a
sunlight. Yeah.
sign of depression. So that was definitely a part of it. I was just so sick. Like it was very, very debilitating and very, very. When I think of that period, I just pictured dark and
Yeah.
sad and crying. Like I think I cried 20 hours of the day. I would wake up in the middle of the night and just start crying as well. I think a big part is also physiological because I wasn't getting enough food
Food.
in me, so I didn't have the
Nutrition.
serotonin
Yeah.
to balance out any negative
Yeah.
feelings.
Can you share with us how did that affect anxiety? Like how did then like where did the anxiety show up?
So I felt very dependent on my husband to do anything.
Yeah.
Like to leave the house, any appointment that we had, I was so weak as well. So I felt like I needed him to stand. I needed him to walk with me to the car. I didn't do anything on my own. And that also took a very big toll on me. And I think exacerbated the anxiety because all of a sudden I felt like I can't be alone.
Yes.
And then there was the internal thoughts of like the biggest thing I think was that I was terrified that I was killing the baby that was inside of me because I felt like I was dying.
Yeah.
I didn't understand how every time we would do a checkup, thank God, the baby was fine.
Baby
And I'm
was fine.
like, how are you fine? And they're like, it's taking everything from you. Like the baby took my love handles and the baby took any fats
No.
that I had stored or any food that I'd eaten ahead
This
of that.
actually reminds me, I remember when as you're talking, I'm remembering with my
Yeah.
daughter. I remember once I threw up so violently, I actually said to my husband, I think I just threw up the baby.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. I'm like, I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
that
how
was
did the anxiety affect you? Like, explain to us, like your everyday life. How did the anxiety affect you?
my everyday life at that time was just to be 100% pregnant. I was nothing else. So I'd actually quit my job right before we found out I was pregnant. So I started looking for a new job and then I just stopped looking because I was just in bed.
In hindsight, do you think that was for your like that was an advantage or a
Yeah,
disadvantage?
yeah.
It
And
turned
then
out to be an advantage. Okay.
because I mean, maybe not because then I would have had something else to distract me, but I didn't have the space to be distracted from it, if that
You
makes sense.
probably didn't have the physical ability either.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. So my day-to-day life was just to
With
be
anxiety.
100%
Yeah.
with anxiety, worrying about the baby, Googling everything that I could think of, and like spiraling because of that as well, like spiraling into, oh, what if this means this and this and that, and the gynecologist that I had at the time as well, not using him this time anymore.
Okay.
But he was very, I didn't realize at the time, but he was also the type of doctor who, I don't know what the word is, but he was like an anxious doctor. Like everything was like, oh, you have to do a test for that. You have to do this. Everything felt very
So,
stressful from him
so
as
it's like
well.
as if it exasperated the anxiety that you already had.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think that I realized that until until I'm now like in hindsight looking into it. But at the time, that definitely added to it because any little checkup that I needed or any extra test or any antibiotic or anything was just like, if I don't do this right this second, what's going to happen? And then I would Google, what if you don't take medicine that you need with it? Like, if I saw him on a Thursday and I couldn't go to the pharmacy until the Sunday, that would stress me out so much. And I was just like on spilkes, as they say.
So, one second. You mentioned that you were Googling a lot. Did you find, okay, can you go into detail like how that exactly? Because sometimes like Google can be used for something good, but apparently in this case, from what you're describing, is that like it just exacerbated the anxiety.
Yeah.
Um, how did you find sort of how did that? I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. I don't want to like, how did you find that sort of added to the anxiety? Like, can you go into detail about that?
I mean, it definitely made things worse, but it was sort of my way of trying to control the anxiety, I guess. Because I was like, well, if I can find
Mm.
an answer, then maybe it'll, I'll find a solution, or maybe someone will tell me that everything's fine. But I never found the answers that I wanted. I joined like a bunch of Facebook groups, the international Facebook groups for HG, like women with HG, and
And
these
did
are
you
like
find that helped you?
international. Pardon?
Pardon? What did you? I said, did you find that helped you?
No, because I think because they were international, they weren't. It wasn't like Jewish women necessarily. So there was a lot of women talking about chas v'shalom, but like terminating their pregnancies because it was too much for them. And that for me was never an option. Like that was not going to be a thing. And I think it's because maybe the Jewish aspect or whatever. Um, but that was almost helpful because I saw women who were much worse than me, and I saw women who were hospitalized a lot more than me. Like I was going to get IVs approximately twice a week. It was about every 3 days I would go get an IV infusion. Um, and then a couple times I went into hospital as well because it was just too much
Too
and
much.
I couldn't go within the hours to go to the nurse. So then all you're left to do is to go to the emergency room, which was
And
not.
you were like as an overnight patient or as an outpatient?
No, so I was never an overnight patient, which as well, like I would see on these Facebook groups women that are like hospitalized for days at a time to keep fluids in. And for me, once I got the IV, I was then sort of better for a couple days. Like I wasn't having the like outbursts of vomiting. It was more like 5 times instead of 10 times in a row. It was whatever. It's
Yeah.
all relative. Um, yeah. So that sort of helped. So the Googling and seeing things that were worse than me was helpful, I will say. Because it sort of gave some perspective. But and also there's all the fears of like the medicine that you're on. Like some people are like the medicine that we're taking is such high risks, blah blah blah. But then in reality, like if the medicine is helping you stay alive, then it's the most important thing at the time.
Yeah, definely. For sure, definitely.
That
And
was
also,
also a big fear. That was like another anxiety provoking thing of like I'm taking so much medication now. It's like what if it's making things worse? Like
You just don't know. I
Yeah,
know.
everyone
Um,
was healthy. She was totally fine.
during your pregnancy, did you like go see anyone? Did you speak to anyone? In what ways did you help yourself?
So I'd say around week 14, I think my mum came as well. My mum flew in and stayed with us and helped sort of take turns with my husband to clean the bucket and she started sort of making me food, more nutritious food, and I would try different things. Um, so I was sort of getting like a little, there was like a little bit of a turning point in terms of
Yeah.
eating a little bit more. And then we realized also around then that my iron was like on the floor.
Low. Yeah.
And my
Which also
husband,
doesn't help because then you have anemia and then you can't get up more and yeah.
yeah, it was all part of the fun jumble. And my husband actually kept trying to push me, and he said, we need to go for a walk. Like you need to go outside. You need sunlight. Like, because as I said, I was just in the dark of the room, and it was really affecting me. Also, like I'm a very social person.
Vitamin,
I
yeah.
usually
It's also
like
vitamin D, by the way. Vitamin D
right.
can really help.
I was
Yeah.
yeah, I was deficient in all
Everything.
the things. Yeah.
So,
Um,
yeah.
so my husband was really trying to push me. He said, let's just go for a little bit of a walk. So we would start like really like to the end of the street and then coming back, and I would be holding him the whole time because I was really weak and really whatever. So we would start by doing that, and then I think I don't know at what point we realized, but I was like, you know what, like I need to see someone, like I need to see a therapist.
Wait, did you find that going out for the walks, did you find that they helped you at all?
I don't know. Probably they did. I don't know if I felt like they did at the time. I think I felt like this is so annoying. I don't want to do it. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to vomit outside. I don't want to, you know. I think that I was probably a bit disgruntled about it at the time, but like I did it anyways. And then I reached out to somebody that is a therapist herself and has had HG in
Oh.
one, if not more, of her pregnancies. But I reached out to her and I said, like, I need someone, like, help. And
And
she
how
said,
many weeks pregnant were you at this stage?
I can't remember. It was probably around that same time because it was when my mum was here. So let's say like 16 weeks that I probably had the first therapy appointment.
Yeah.
And it was quite close by. It's like a 15-minute walk. So I would also like I would walk there with accompanied. I didn't walk by myself. I couldn't do anything by myself. Um, I'd walk
It's amazing how like you're so used to being independent and doing everything yourself, and then suddenly you go back and it's like I can't even get out of bed on my own.
like even like walking a 15-minute walk.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't do it by
It
myself.
becomes yeah.
So I would go. So I started going to a therapist, and she was amazing. Like she was so empathetic, but she was also so pragmatic and
Yeah.
like, and she was like, I promise you, you're fine. Like anyone that told me, like when my husband said, I'm sure the baby's fine, I'm like, you have no idea. Like you don't know. You're
I
not a
know.
doctor. You're not a woman. You're not a nothing. Like you have nothing to base that off. It's also like one of the reasons why I got a doula, like why I think a doula is so important, because when your husband's telling you you're doing great, he has no idea if you're doing great. Like a doula actually knows if you're doing great.
I had a friend of mine, she described it as a type of birth insurance. She's
Yeah,
like, listen, I have horrific pregnancies. I find it hard every time I have a child. At least let me have the insurance, birth insurance, as I'm giving birth. That's how she described it.
yeah.
Yeah. And I
Um,
thought, yeah.
yeah.
So you were saying, how did the therapist help you?
So firstly, she's a mother as well. So
Yeah.
she's been through pregnancy and she's been whatever. So it was enough. Like it was very reassuring. Like whatever she said, reassured. Not that I was like, okay, I believe you, fantastic. Now I'm cured. It wasn't like that. It obviously took work, and I went, I think, maybe 6 times. It was like a once a week. Like I went to go see
Yeah.
her. Um, but by the end, by like the last session, I remember sitting there and being like, I don't think I need to come to you anymore. Like I think I got this. Like I'm really, and in that, and she helped me also feel like, get out of the house, try be social, try see people, try connect with the person that you are, not just the pregnant Ella. Like that was what was really hard as well. Like I'm usually quite social and I like to go out and I like to whatever, be a human being. I guess I'm not like like I am a homebody, but like this was like a bit
The
extreme.
extroverted side, yeah.
Yeah.
Extrovert.
So she helped me try and connect with that side of myself again, which I had totally lost in those first few months of the pregnancy. So that helped as well. So I had like little wins, and we also like, yeah, I managed to, I think we started hosting Shabbos meals again. Shabbos was the worst. Shabbos was so
Wow.
hard. Like food on Shabbos is that much harder. You can't just like microwave something if you think, okay, maybe I can handle this right now.
I feel like this, but you can't have this because you got to do this. Yeah.
Yeah. Even like challah tasted. I remember it was our first year of marriage, so we were having honey on challah, and like the taste of that to me was disgusting. Like everything tasted wrong. Like sweet things tasted peppery. It was everything. Oh,
You're reminding me of like when I my first pregnancy. Also, I'm like, this tastes too buttery, and it's like crackers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So 1 second. So you said you started seeing her around 16 weeks. So then you were 22 weeks when you stopped seeing her, roughly.
something like that. Yeah.
So you're already, that was, what's that, the fourth trimester? Fifth, fourth,
Month, not trimester. Month.
3, 4, 5, fifth trimester. No,
Yeah.
sorry, the fifth month.
Halfway. She
The
got me
fifth month,
past
I meant.
halfway.
I'm so sorry. I didn't drink enough coffee today. The fifth. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. And then I also like I start week 20. We ended up in hospital because I was vomiting too much, and then whatever, it was not a fun situation. We were there for like 8 hours just because things take time at the hospital. I didn't need to be there for that long.
This was to get an IV?
Yeah, this was to get IVs and for them to check the baby. Like you have to like, at that point in the pregnancy, they were also a bit more fussed about things. So all scans and whatever. Thank God baby was always fine, always above average in weight because she took everything from me. But week 20, so that was the last time that I vomited in the pregnancy as well. So that was also like a bit of a turning point. And I think that helped with the therapy. And I don't think that I got another IV after. Maybe I did. I can't remember. But I was able to, but I basically stopped IVs soon after that. And I was able to keep.
So that lasted for the first half of your pregnancy, for about 4.5 months. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first half was very intensive, relying on my husband and everything and IVs and everything. But then the second half, I definitely with the help of my therapist, but I was able to like take more control of it. But I still felt very dependent on my husband. And there were a couple times I vividly remember, I could probably count them on one hand, the times that I went out by myself. Like I went to get a pedicure and I drove myself and I was like, I'm going to drive and I'm going to whatever. And it felt like such a big deal. But I was like really conquering all this like nervousness that, in my handbag, I had my vomit bags and my crackers and my everything on all the medicine just in case, whatever. But I'm
sure there's women here listening and they're like, I've been pregnant or are pregnant and like, I'm totally relating. It's like, yes, you got to have your vomit bag. You got to have the crackers or this. I used to have like the sweets that you can suck on. That used to really help me. It's like we all relate to this stuff.
Yeah.
How did you get over that nervousness and just like make yourself jump and just do it?
I think my husband helped push me quite a lot. And I think with the therapy, it was a slow process. It wasn't like, one day I'll go to therapy, the next day, okay, I'm going to go out by myself. But it came also with necessity. There was even a time, I was like quite late on in the pregnancy. So let's say 32, 34 weeks, something like that. And I hadn't felt the baby move so much the day before. So I was like, I'm not that worried, but I want to go get like what's it called when they put the thing on your
scan?
Not even the scan. They're like
baby monitor. They hear the heart. Yeah.
And I said to my husband, I'm going to go by myself. That's how confident I am that everything's fine. So I'm going to go to this appointment by myself. I still want to get checked because just for my peace of mind, but whatever. And I went and thank God everything was fine. But that was like, I remember feeling like, yeah, I'm going to do this by myself.
It's small wins. They add up. They really do. Small wins.
Yeah. And then when I was, I don't know, maybe 35 weeks or something, it was my birthday. I turned 30. And we said, okay, we're doing like a big party. Like I haven't seen anyone. and we invited all. We hadn't seen. We got married. We fell pregnant 3 months after getting married, so we really felt like we hadn't seen anyone since our wedding because I like disappeared.
Yeah.
So we invited like all my close friends. So many people came, and we had just like I was lactose intolerant before the pregnancy, but for some reason with the pregnancy I was eating a ton of dairy.
There
Whatever.
is something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
What
was a
you
nice
can't
bonus.
eat not during pregnancy, I can eat during pregnancy, but when I'm pregnant, I can't eat when I'm not pregnant.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It
But
was
I
weird.
had this like dairy themed party, and it was so nice to just be social and to see so many people. So that also like I definitely came out of it a lot more
Did
towards
you
the end.
find that the nausea, once the nausea subsided, like all that anxiety, like it went down, or was it
So the
still part of your
nausea
life?
never subsided. I was nauseous until the end. Like I was in medication
Okay.
even in the middle of my labor. I was like, oh, it's been 8 hours. I have to take my next tablet. But the intense nausea of like, oh, I'm gonna vomit any second, that went away. So that made a big difference, and it was sort of like I could keep it under control if I ate the right sort of things. I don't know, a bit
How
complicated.
did you find that helped that anxiety?
It helped because I didn't feel, I think it all came together with that feeling of like dependence. Like I was no longer dependent on being right next to my bucket or being right next to my toilet or making sure that I'm lying down. Like I didn't push myself too hard. As I said, like I wasn't working. So I still, even at the end, was only waking up at like in midday to get to like have the day go by as much as possible, unless I had an appointment or something.
Yeah.
Um, but in
Were
general,
you sleeping at night?
yeah,
Oh,
enough.
okay.
But I would go to sleep really late. Like it was just like it was a weird, I don't know. But
Yeah.
it's what
Different
I
timetable. It's pregnancy. Yeah.
um
Um,
I think the anxiety sort of was more exacerbated at the beginning with that feeling of dependency, and then as I felt more and more independent, the anxiety sort of was like separated from me, I guess. It was less like all encompassing, and like it was still there,
mm,
but I wasn't crying as much. And it wasn't the same sort of extreme. Like my husband, in the middle of the night, I would wake up and just like freak out about the baby and bawl my eyes out, and it would wake my husband up in the middle of the night, and he wouldn't know like what to do with me. So that stopped. So that sort of thing like stayed in the beginning half, and that didn't
yeah. Do
continue at the end. But I think
you
also,
think that was a lot more to do that? Do you think that would you contribute the fact that you were like a lot more independent?
yeah, definitely. But I think that when it then came time for labor prep, I then
Mm,
felt very dependent again.
okay. And did
Like,
that affect the anxiety at all?
yeah, I would say so. We did like 2 sessions of like birth prep with our doula before.
Yeah.
And I don't, do you know like the ice trick where like you hold on to ice for as long as you can, and it's sort of like teaches you that you can do something, you can be uncomfortable for 30 seconds at a time to like show that like you can handle a contraction. So she like gave us ice to hold, and something about, I remember this so vividly, something about holding that ice, I just burst out crying. And they're like, what's wrong? Like, are you okay? I'm like, no, this feels really scary. Like, maybe I can't do this. Like, I felt very not sort of, I guess I didn't trust my body. I think that was like a big part of the entire pregnancy. And that also, like, with the labor, I was just like, how do
Mm.
I trust that everything's going to be fine? So that's why having a doula was very helpful, like I said,
Did
because
she say anything to help you with that?
she was just really good. Like I think I'm using her again for this pregnancy, thank God. Like she's similar to the therapist then in that way that she's
Who's your
very
doula?
Amanda Goldman. She's amazing.
Amanda, if you're hearing this,
Yeah.
call up thank you.
Like she's also very similar to what I said about my therapist, very empathetic, but still very practical and pragmatic. And I think that combination is like perfect for me in this situation, but maybe also in general in life like that. Like I want someone that's not going to say, oh, suck it up. Like I want them to say like, no, this is really hard.
That doesn't help when you say suck it up.
Yeah.
How does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But to say like, oh, here's what we're going to do if it gets hard. So I think like, yeah, that's why doing the birth prep was also helpful, because we like planned if this happens, then this happens, and if this happens, then that
Knowledge
happens.
is so important. It
Yeah.
can really, and if you ever, this is a message for anybody out there listening to this, if you're ever feeling very, very anxious about something that's going to happen in the future, very often, if you just educate yourself, it doesn't necessarily take away all the anxiety, but it can really help to like subside it a bit. Just to
Yeah.
like, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
It can really, really help to just to relax you a bit, to know, okay, so I know where I'm going, I know what I'm doing, I know this and this and this and this can really help.
Yeah, even like doing the tour of the hospital before was just like, this is what the rooms look like just knowing
Yes,
that. Yeah.
absolutely. I remember I had my first one. I wanted a specific hospital. I went to see it, and I was like, "This is not the hospital for me at all." And I'm so glad I went to do that. And
Right.
it's just like it's good to know. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. This is. It's not like you're entering a place and you're like, "Where am I going?" And I'm in so much pain and I don't know what I'm doing. And then suddenly you're like, "No, I've got this and
Right.
I've got this," and the people that you can rely on. And yeah, definitely, it's also a very vulnerable position that you're already in.
Right. Sure.
Hmm. Okay, so you mentioned to me before that you decided to get pregnant again. Can you tell
Yeah.
us a bit about that?
So now
What helped you
I'm
get to that decision, basically, after all you've been through?
when we first had my daughter, I think we didn't, I don't know if we talked about it that much. I think it probably took a little while afterwards for us to like sit down with each other and be like, what did we just go through? Like what was that? Because as I said, it was the start of our marriage. So that
Dramatic.
was, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was very confronting in that way. And we sort of we spent a lot of time talking it out, and also I think during the pregnancy as well, I remember saying to my husband, like, we are not going to be having the giant family that we thought we're going to be having. Like, if this is what pregnancy is, like, I'm not doing this 10 times, 8 times, 7 times, whatever it is. And I remember even like I spoke to my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law had hard pregnancies for other physical reasons. They have 4 beautiful kids, but they're spaced out a little bit. It's not dramatically spaced out. It's like 3 years between them.
It's
Um,
not back to back, yeah.
yeah, but nowadays I have a lot of friends that are doing like, you want 2 kids under 2. You want like that 2-year gap.
Yeah.
So I had to sort of recognize that that was not going to be our reality, and we're going to have to take longer gaps, and which then means less children, probably, possibly. And I remember talking to my sister-in-law about it, and sort of getting that validation of like, it's okay, like,
Yeah.
that she loves how her family looks and she wouldn't have it any other way, and like, it doesn't matter at the end of the
A
day.
different dream. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was something else that me and my husband discussed, and then we also, yeah, we eventually had to like chat about it. Like, how, like, I turned to him and said, how are you? How was that for you? He started a new job in like when I was like a month into the dark
This
period of the pregnancy, like the really
this
hard
is your
time
first one or your second one now?
first. So
Okay.
going back then, he started a new job, and once I'd had the baby afterwards, I was like, how's work? Like, I turned to him one day and I was just like, how's it going? Like, who do you work with? Are you friends with them? Show me their like,
Where are you working? What's your job, by the way? Yeah.
I didn't have the emotional capacity to hold anything else other than my own anxiety and pregnancy. So
And the
then,
nausea and the baby and everything that comes with it. Yeah.
yeah, so I didn't
So
even know. Yeah.
how did you guys decide to get pregnant again? Like what was the process?
So it was a process of coming to terms with what we went through. I think
Yeah.
that was a part of it, was like recognizing how it affected me, how it affected him, how it affected our marriage, how it affected the like postpartum stage as well. Um, and it really it affected our marriage in a lot of ways, because once the baby was out, I
Yeah.
I no longer felt dependent, but he was still living in this zone of like my sensitive, delicate wife. But I
Yeah.
didn't feel sensitive and delicate anymore. And I can't think of an example, but I remember this feeling of like saying something like, why are you doing, like, you don't have to do that, it's fine.
Anymore. Yeah.
I remember what it was, but there was,
Communication. They don't always realize it. Yeah.
because that was so ingrained in him to, that he had this delicate wife, but I was no longer, they called me a smart tut, like a
Oh
rat,
God.
because I was just, all the nurses, that's what they called me. So then when we were
Like,
deciding to do it again,
yeah.
it was firstly it was the decision of, okay, I don't want my daughter to feel, I want her to be old enough that if I disappear for a little bit, for a few weeks, for 9 months, if it's going to be 9 months, that like she can handle it. Um, so that was the decision. The war also sort of extended things a little bit more, but I think that everything's happening
Wait,
when
how
you're
many weeks are you now?
24.
Okay.
So I fell pregnant right around my daughter's second birthday.
So wait, how did you decide that you wanted to become pregnant? Or like what was the leap that you like I almost want to say a leap of faith, but
Yeah.
like what was it that you suddenly decided, you know what? Yeah, I can do this again. What pushed you to go over that?
I made the conscious decision to be as in control as possible, and that meant that from about 6 months before trying, or 6 months before anything, it was changing what I eat, like making sure that I felt very nourished, I guess, making sure that I had extra weight as well, just in case I was going to then
Okay.
lose
So you
a
prepared
lot.
yourself. Yeah.
So I prepared myself physically, and I also prepared myself mentally. I try, like me personally, I tried to see a new therapist, didn't click. But I sort of researched a lot of anxiety tools, like different things
Mm.
for coping with anxiety, which I needed during the war, anyways.
So, yes.
Um,
A lot of people, yeah.
but and with my husband, he was really amazing the whole time. He was like, "When you're ready, I'm ready. Like, let's do it. Like, it's fine." But it was still a conscious decision, because I said to him, like, you're going to be doing 99% of the parenting. But also that was a part of my, like, let's say 6 month prep in the lead up to know, like, okay, in 6 months we want to start trying. So for the next 6 months, what am I going to do to make myself feel like if I disappear, I won't feel guilty about it? So I did a lot in the house. Like I did
Okay.
all of the lunch boxes. I did all of the, I don't know, obviously, like, he still did a lot and we were a team, but I felt like I'm going to do a lot so that when I look back and say, oh, now I can't do anything, I'm going to feel like it's fine. I did a lot in the lead up and I won't feel guilty. Because that was also a big part of it. The first time that I felt guilty that I wasn't putting anything into our marriage and do anything in our home, he did all the laundry, all the
You
cooking.
were like growing a baby. That's quite a
Yeah,
lot.
right. It
That's
is
a
a lot.
lot. I'm giving you a baby. I'm giving you a life. I'm giving you a child.
Yeah. So that was a lot of the mental prep, was like making sure that I wouldn't feel guilty. I think that if I did disappear, that I would give myself the rahmanis to do so. And part of that, it was knowing that in the lead up, I was doing a lot.
And how was your pregnancy? This pregnancy, how was it?
So I got nauseous on week 5 again, but
Okay.
there's a protocol now for women with HG that you start on a certain medication from the second you take your pregnancy test, even
Mm.
before, like, take an early pregnancy test, and so that you can start on the medication as soon as possible, so that it kicks in. Like, it takes your body a while to get used to it.
Yeah.
So I was very nauseous, and I was vomiting maximum twice a day, which is very,
Okay.
very different to that, which is within the realms of normal, I guess. Like, it's still on the higher end of
Slightly, yeah.
fine,
I mean, yeah.
but it was okay. And I gave myself a lot of rahmanis. I slept as much as I could. I didn't push myself, because I saw that if I pushed myself too much,
Then you
even with
get more nauseous and they end up throwing up
hormonal,
more. Yeah.
exactly. So I really tried to not push myself. I tried to not get to that point. Every day we were just like, every day that goes by, if I don't need an IV, we are winning. Like, that was all I want. Like, we sort of had two goals. We were like, if I keep my job and if I don't need an IV, then we've won this
So
pregnancy.
you're working this pregnancy as well?
Yeah, I had to tell my boss straight away at the beginning, like, I'm pregnant and whatever. And I worked from home.
How did your boss like? Did you find that your boss helped, like, was
She,
understanding?
yeah, she was understanding enough. She knew that I had a really bad pregnancy the first time. So she sort of, so I think that she knew a bit. But then she's a bit more old school Israeli, where like, no, you come into the office all the time. So that was hard, but she was like she was really kind about it, and I worked as much as I basically did like the bare minimum that I could do from home, and I would on average take like one sick day a week where like, no, this day I'm not looking at my computer, like I just can't do it.
Yeah.
And then I said to myself from the beginning, from week 13, 14, I'm going to stop giving myself this Rahmanis. Like I'm going to push myself a lot more. Because also I could start taking like the other medication, which then has
you find that worked with you or against you by pushing
it
yourself?
worked with me. It worked for me. It was good because I pushed myself more to go out and be social, and I did it within the realm of still not wanting to vomit and not wanting to whatever. So I would still be delicate with myself, but I pushed myself, and a big thing was to feel independent because of last time feeling so dependent. So I would make
So
sure
that helped you, like your emotional and mental health. You found that helped you a lot?
Totally. Like even just time to walk to the makolet by myself. I'm like, no, I'm going. Like I know if I had just vomited, it means I'm not going to vomit again. At least
you could time it. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so I'm going to go do this, and I would also every afternoon come out and be with my daughter. Like even if I'd spent the whole day in bed, I would push myself to come out and be with her, at least for a little bit, and at least for like bedtime routine.
Yeah.
That was really important for me. That was also like emotionally, it was very hard to like. I was putting her to bed every single night of her life, and then to know that all of a sudden,
suddenly, yeah, Ima is like for Ima, yeah.
So she would come in. My husband would bring her into me every morning. This is like the first 12 weeks of the pregnancy. So he'd bring her. He would get up with her, but then bring her in. I would put her cuckoo in her hair. She would give me a kiss on my cheek, and then she would go to gun. Like that was the process in the morning, and like she got used to it really quickly. Like kids are really adaptable, so
Kids are very adaptable. Yeah.
So that was her new reality, and thank God she loves gun, so she was very happy there. So I didn't feel guilty that she wasn't stimulated during the day if I wasn't with her. Like, no, she's having a great day. She comes home, we can chill on the couch for the rest of the
It's easier for us to handle ourselves if we know that like the kids are okay.
Yeah.
Ella, I want to ask you, do you have a message for anybody listening to this right now that, let's say, they're at the beginning stages of pregnancy, or they're still like feeling the nausea and the throwing up and everything? Is there a message that you want to tell people out there who's listening to this?
Yeah, I think there's two main things, and they're the opposite of each other. The one is have Rahmanis for yourself, but the other one is push yourself and believe that you can do more than you can. Like, I think it's really
You've got to really know yourself. Yeah.
I think it's really important to have grace for yourself and say, like, I know that if I do too much, I will be more sick. It's not worth it. So sort of like pick your battles in that time, pick the things you're gonna put the effort into to make sure that you can be as full as you can be. But then see where you can push yourself. Like see if you can go for a little bit of a walk, do a little bit of a thing.
Vitamin D. Yeah. I think also something that you said much earlier when you said that you got yourself help, that you got yourself the therapist. It sounds to me like that really also helped you a lot. So if anyone is listening to this, like go out and seek any help that you need.
Yeah. It was also wonderful. It was really wonderful now recognizing that I'm not anxious about things like I was in the first pregnancy. And I bumped into the therapist that I used in the pregnancy. I bumped into her while I think I was maybe 13 weeks now. So it was a couple months ago. And I said to her, I was like, I'm pregnant and I'm fine. Like, I'm not a ball of anxiety. And like, it's because of you. It's because of like the tools that you gave me and the perspective that you gave and the way that you helped me. And like, it was so, so important.
What did she say?
Oh, she was so happy. And I've even like referred other friends to her since because I really think that she's amazing. Yeah.
Great. Wonderful. Yeah. Ella, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate you sharing your story with us. If anxiety has affected you in any way at some point in your life and you are willing to be part of this interview series and to share with us your journey, please be in touch with me. The details will be at the end of this video. Thank you so much, Ella. Really appreciate it. Thank you.